My people, what up, though? We back with another episode of All Black Men Need Therapy. My name is Chief.
And I'm Bell.
My name is Prentice.
And here we go again. Yo, we're keeping the party going. I'm excited. Makes me feel good. I'm excited about this episode. It's going to be a little lighter than what we normally do, so I'm ready to.
Who the fuck knows, though? Like,
our
episodes be going all kinds of places.
We here crying, talking about fuck boys.
It
That's crazy. P, what's good, baby? Check in.
Oh, man, we out here. We are in New York or New Jersey. New York or New Jersey right now?
We're technically in New Jersey right now.
But I'm looking at New York.
Right.
So we are kind of in two states. And I'm happy to be out here. I'm happy to be out here with y'all. I'm happy to be out here with my friends. I am happy to be with my friends in a healthy environment doing some healthy work. That's my check-in, man.
All right. Me, I appreciate y'all. I definitely.
You sure? You said that with a
I
got a question mark at the end.
Weren't sure.
Like
Yeah.
I think
I
I do.
literally started and said I was happy to be here before we even did a check-in.
Right, but that didn't sound.
But that and
Fuck
I
both of
appreciate.
y'all.
I
Get
appreciate.
up. I'll do
y'all.
the show by myself.
No, you won't.
I feel like, you were just like, I appreciate y'all. No, I ain't like
Anyways,
that shit.
I'm feeling good. I think I need new friends, as we've clearly decided. You can see.
See, you didn't mean that shit.
Other than that, fellas got beer. I think the beer is a good little accent to the. You know what I'm saying?
That shit about to be gone.
Yeah.
Well,
Take a break. Give me another one.
Yeah, you may have to.
Mookie.
Don't play him like that. Shout out to Mookie, man.
Yo, shout out to
Mookie,
Mookie,
man.
man. We didn't shout Mookie out yet, man. Shout out to Mookie, man.
Find him on Instagram. Shots by Mookie. Shot by Mookie on Instagram. He do some stuff from my last poetry video and
Is it
whatnot.
two O's or three?
Three.
Is it
Where the
KY
three?
or KIE?
KIE. Where the three O's come from there?
Hey, I'm just
That
being-
Mookie do
I'm
drugs.
Just exaggerating.
That one is on some shit.
Mookie.
Word. I'll say no, for real. I'm happy to be here, man. It makes me feel good. I feel like this is the catalyst to some greater things for us, and it feels good.
Yeah.
It feels good. You know what I'm saying? Just to have.
Are y'all holding hands?
Don't ever disrespect.
Listen, it just the
We
way
ju-
it
we
looked.
just
I
talked
wasn't
about
gonna judge y'all.
disrespect.
Y'all been
Don't
friends
disrespect.
forever. It just looked like you all was holding hands.
Wait, what was episode was it? What you not gonna do?
Yeah. I don't care about it getting out of hand.
We just talked about that. Bellhead, check in, man.
Yo, y'all ever have like a friend that yeah, I don't either. So I'll explain. They like know like you got your heart set on something, and it's like you emphasize it to them to the point where they like bought in, like, yo, word, Bell, like when you get them joints, that's gonna be tough. And then you don't get them.
Wait, this is what I do. If I do this,
And then
right, just put the foot out.
you getting dressed, and you see that he got what you want, and never told you he got him.
I definitely told you.
So the story is, I wanted the ones that you guys can see on his feet right now.
And for
I didn't know he had them till just now, and I was hurt. I was hurt.
Yo.
Like I'm taking them after this
Listen
episode.
to
I
this.
just want to be clear, ladies and gentlemen.
Because I love you like a brother. When we leave New Jersey, they are yours.
That is so weird to me.
No,
That is so weird to me.
I'm
I would
committing
never
larceny.
Give away my shoes.
really,
Never.
dude.
Never.
I give away more shoes than I buy.
Yeah, me
Hell
too.
no. I don't
So
even
just
give
so
my
we're clear,
son
people,
my
this is the
old
very
shoes.
first time I've worn them. I'm going to take them off when we're done here, and I'm going to give them to him, and they're his. But I'm going to borrow them from occasion from time to time.
I'll see if they're available.
He do be doing that though. I got some flu games in the closet that he gave me.
I'm gonna tell you about him. I've never met him and my man D Glass. Shout out to D Glass. I've never seen two people care less about material items than them.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like
and,
somebody-
and have them.
Yeah,
You know
like
what I mean?
no, like perfect example. We were in the Poconos one year, right? Chief had the big ass Infinity truck, the one that looks like a tank. So everybody piled in and they went skiing. Chief and I at the house, and they come back like hat in hand, like, you know, Chief,
I do remember that.
somebody hit your car. And he ain't had it that long at this point. Mind you, this is after someone totaled his previous vehicle. Chief's like, that's fucked up too. How was the slopes?
Yeah, it was.
Just on to the next subject.
Yo, like
What we gonna do, man?
he I'm telling you, like he didn't, and they're talking about like wait, hey, I can give you this, I can't. He's like, yo, it ain't no big deal, right?
Like, what we gonna do about it, Pete? Like, it's a crashed up car. That's why we got
So
insurance.
calm and collected.
What we supposed to do about that?
I feel you. It's true. It's just that most people can't implement that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you do a good job.
I mean, again, it's circumstance. It's traumatic. It's a traumatic response. It's a trauma response.
Now, I'll give you another example, right? Over our course of damn near 30 years of friendship, we've loaned each other money, right? Sometimes absorbent amounts of money, right? I've owed this man a lot of money at times, right? He's never called me for this money, right? So hold on, right? This is in our 20s.
I don't know this story.
But we worked in a summer camp together. And he would, like, this was back during, we're dating ourselves, but like the And1 shorts was popping.
Hell
like the
yeah.
And1 brand.
Yeah.
I know where you going with it.
I think at the time I might have owed him like $200 or something like that. I might have been 18, 19, something like that. Didn't ask me for it once. Like, didn't ask me for it. Like I never owed it. I took his shorts from his house and had them shits for 2 days. Bell, where the fuck my shorts at, Bell?
Yo, you needed your N1
Bring me my
shorts,
shorts back,
Because it
Bell.
was summertime. That was part of my summer fix.
He's
You
like,
know what I'm saying?
I
thought he
need
was
my
hot
shorts
sauce
back.
out
Bring
here.
my shorts back.
It went well with my work shirt.
I'm like, damn, bro. Yo, like, you good on this money? Like, I mean, 'cause like, what's happening? Like, but that's how he is. So I appreciate the sentiment, and I will gladly take them shoes.
Okay, you got it, bro. You know what's crazy part is? I'm gonna give them to him, and he's never gonna wear them. He's not gonna wear them.
Nope. The crazy shit is, we got a photo shoot coming up and everything, and I got a bunch of shoes, and all I did was bring the shoes that I wear every day. Like, that's all I did. Like the shoes that I got. Well, you staying at the house, so you gonna see shit everywhere because I was looking for a pair of shoes. And I was like, man, whatever, we out. Anyway, check-in was way too long. That's everybody went.
Yeah, what's crazy is the check-in, like 3 episodes ago, we was in here. Like, the check-in went for a long time before.
that check-in
I think
was
it, like,
the episode.
It, like, just, like, seamlessly segued into the episode. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Nevertheless, today's topic, our titles are always just, we pick them up after the show.
Working title.
Working title.
Yeah. Well, we talking about being the concept of being fuckboy free. So
Fuckboy free.
So
Not-
just to give y'all context on how this episode came about, I was thinking about how one of my greatest claims to fame nowadays is my reform fuckboyism. Like, that's what we gonna call
That's so crazy, like, to hear it out loud. Like,
You know,
we talked about it, but right now it just hitting a little
it.
different.
My reform, it's because I'm drinking this beer. My reform fuckboyism. And I started to think about how I've carried around this concept of the most growth that's happened with me over the past 5 years is how I handle myself as far as my relationship. Sarai. Relationship. I meant relationship.
You about to get
Right,
hands and
relationships,
feet
what the
put
fuck
on
you
when you
talking-
go home.
How I handle my relationships with women. And how far I've come when I assess how I've interacted with women. I've always been open about my infidelity in all of my relationships. And I mean,
In the words of Prentice Powell, I have been a habitual cheater my whole life.
Listen, my whole life, a habitual cheater. But this is what I started thinking about is how, that change is something that I've carried along with me, right? So as I've grown and I've matured and I've learned how to treat a woman and respect a woman, it feels like a very, very huge sense of accomplishment because I always thought that I was going to be a cheater my whole life. I thought it was inevitable. And so I always carry around this badge of honor as far as being a reformed fuckboy. Like, I don't cheat and do this and do that. And I thought about how detrimental that can be to you. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you have to let go of certain titles. So I was wondering if there's a difference between reform and growth, or if they're the same thing. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I often wonder how healthy is it for me to continue to talk about who I used to be. You get what I'm saying? And I kind of, in a way, by wearing that it's an accomplishment, obviously, but as a badge of honor, I still feel like, in a way, I'm carrying that with me. You know what I mean? It isn't the point of shedding certain parts of your behavior to let them go and leave them in the past, but I tend to bring that one because it's such a significant change to me. into my present and my future now.
So it's like
Before we even go further, for our listeners who may not be familiar with the phrase "fuckboy,"
Please let them know.
yeah, I'm gonna give you the what I call the social media definition. So this is, I forgot to note the site, so my bad, but it was on the internet.
It was on the internet.
it's on the internet.
Google it.
A fuckboy is a guy who strings you along to keep your thirst for them going, but also blows you off and doesn't treat you with respect. Now, wait. So that's the social media definition.
A woman wrote that.
Huh?
A woman wrote that.
Yeah, I would agree.
Sure. I mean,
I would
we not out
agree.
here. We don't give a fuck about
That
it.
was an experience.
Yeah.
Because that was not generalized.
Dramatic definition.
That wasn't a generalized definition of a fuckboy.
shit
That was
came-
like, this is what he did to me.
That shit
Right.
came from trauma.
Right. So then I'll finish this premise and then maybe you can give your definition. But I was introduced to the term fuckboy in college.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, fuck nigga. That's what I was introduced to.
Yeah,
right?
that's a term we get.
So
But I understand. I know where you're going with this. Go ahead.
when I learned what that, and that was introduced to me from my teammates from Florida, right? I didn't know, like that's like one of the most disrespectful things you can say to someone.
That's like equivalent to SMD. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, to up North Cat, it's the equivalent to SMD, exactly. So, Prentice, like, what the fuck that mean? Like, I can see his mind working.
Yeah, I was
trying to put
I was
it
going to go
together.
along with it, but you busted me out.
What's the tough?
You still you're good, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I put the hood definition is one of them. I actually made this up myself.
You did that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I didn't
made
Google,
up the hood definition?
Yeah, I didn't Google this.
Okay.
I just
What
put
you
this together.
got?
This is from the bell.
In his words.
I put one of the most disrespectful things you can say to a black man, especially if you live below the Mason-Dixon, commonly referred to as a man who isn't honorable, thief, liar, sneaky, backstabber, soft, or punk. Right. So you can, depending the context in which you use it, it can fall into any of those. So
That's crazy.
it's crazy I put all that together.
No, but I'm saying when you say depending on the context, that made me think of that phrase like, "What's good?" Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Depending upon how you say it.
Exactly,
Like,
exactly, and that's the, like Fifth talked about in that episode. It's like if you're not, he said slang is so universal now.
No, not what's good. You good? You good? Like you
No,
good?
what's good too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
what's
what's
good?
good too?
Yeah,
Can
you
mean,
good,
Like,
what's
hey,
good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You tell me.
Yeah. Exactly.
Shit.
Exactly. But yeah. So when we're talking about for today's purpose of today's episode, we're referring to the social media definition. But you can also obviously give your definition.
Yeah, I mean it. I meant it, and it stemmed from the thought of when it comes to just not carrying yourself correctly and constantly disrespecting or violating the other people in the process of living your life, not being righteous in your behavior. Your morals, your principles are not at the forefront.
So I got a couple. I asked a couple of my homegirls prior to the episode. I said like, "Hey Chief, what's up? What's the fuck boy?" And just like no conversation, just walk right into it, and give it no context. You know what I'm saying? So the statements were, guys who have no intention on being with you but use women for whatever reason. Dudes who think they can meet women romantically in the club. That's how she worded it. Dudes who they said a fuckboy is a dude who thinks he can meet a woman romantically in the club. That's I'm just telling you what was quoted.
Yeah, we'll touch
to
on
me.
them.
I need some more context. For that one. Go ahead.
She said dudes who use crying, laughing emojis or LOL several times in a text.
These some weak ass responses. I'm sorry.
I'm just telling you what was said.
That goes to like soft / punk in my mind. You know what I'm saying?
Who uses crying face emojis?
No, like all the LOLs.
The LOLs and the crying face emojis and whatever. Remember for a while it was like taboo for dudes to use emojis. Like,
oh yeah,
you know
it
what
took
I'm saying?
me like a solid 10 years
Yo,
to use emojis.
I remember the first time I text somebody back, K. They called me. They don't ever text me, K. Again.
Yeah, I would have did the same shit. Like we're not that close, right?
I'm almost feel the type of way if you put OKAY. Like, wait a minute, just put the OK, B. Let it be. Don't be spelling shit. Anywho, only dudes who only text after a certain hour.
Okay.
Do you agree with
I can
that?
see that. Yep, I
and,
can see that.
And the fuckboy is how he talks around his women and talks about women around his friends.
Yep.
Okay, I can see that
too.
one.
I can see that too.
So those were straight from the mouths of women. You know what I'm saying? So Pete, would you like to give us an example of some fuckboy behavior in your previous life? Because I know you don't live that life.
Previous life, man. Well, shit. What wasn't?
Damn. It's actually easier for me to tell you when I wasn't.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You know, I think about the inability to be certain of yourself. You know what I mean? Like so much of my life was based upon, and this goes to I think my upbringing, the approval of women. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And okay. I actually, to tell you the truth, I contribute a lot of it to the absence of a father. To tell you the truth, I just
wait. You attribute your
fuckboy
desire
nature
for validation from women due to an absence of a dad, or just the nature of who you became?
Yeah. I think that, but I really think if I would have had. Okay, so here's the thing: if I would have had my dad as an example, I'd be even more fucked up than I am now. I truly
in regards to women,
that.
you're saying?
Yeah, in regards to women.
But you did have an example as an example.
I did, and the things I saw were terrible.
That's what I'm saying.
You give it up, but but they were so limited in scope. You know what I mean? Like I have these memories of him with women, but I saw my dad a handful of times growing up.
But the fucked up thing is, so just stay with me.
What sticks?
What the times you did see him, right? And the fucked up things he was doing at those times.
I remember one time, you know, my dad used to have an El Camino. Shout out to the El Camino,
Study like
man.
Cadillacs.
Yeah, in West Oakland. And I remember one time he had just met this girl, and he was getting gas in the Arco, and I'm sitting in the middle seat because, you know, it's only one seat in the El Camino. And she's looking at me. She's like, "So you gonna come to me and your daddy's wedding?" And I was like, "Bitch, I barely even know this motherfucker." You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know you at motherfucking all. But when I think of certain examples that I saw, I do think I would have been worse off. But I think having to figure out manhood on your own can contribute to that stigma of being a fuckboy. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't have the right foundation and you're trying to navigate and figure out
building a plane as you fly it,
what this means.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Depending on where you're at, depending on the women you have access to, too. Because I honestly believe that, you know, women contribute to fuckboy nature, too.
One of the questions here is, can women be F-boys, too? But
oh, my God.
So, and it's crazy because I kind of can share that same sentiment because obviously with this, I'm waiting for the joke to come.
With your absent-ass father?
Yeah.
I'm done. No, I'm done with that.
My dad
I did it for you this time.
I'm done with that like he's been done with you for.
To pour this fucking water on you. So, if I had to use an example, it would be my grandfather. Was like, he was around. I was at my mom's working. I'm at my grandma's house. But my grandfather, like, you shout out, rest in peace. You know what I'm saying? My grandfather got at least 22 kids that we know of.
Damn.
At least
22.
At least.
Mr. Wiley wasn't nothing to be played with.
Wasn't nothing to be played with. Old school player, slick back.
Every time you see him, it looked like he was working the track with his girls. Like he had his hair was laid. He had a big brim on. Like he was looked like Sunday's best.
Yeah, he had the fedora with the feather, the clean slacks, pressed slacks. You know what I'm saying?
And he would look like that walking. Like it's not like he going around the corner. Like this motherfucker would walk like far, and he always dressed like that.
We had the projects where we lived. We had it was rows, this row, front door on one side, back door on the other side. Next row, front door, back door. My grandmother and his lady lived rows apart.
They used to do that back in the day.
Rows apart.
They used to wow. Like older brothers used to wow back in the day. Have whole ass families.
Multiple.
Yeah. Multiple. That's what I mean. Yeah.
So I got nieces and nephews 10 years younger than me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, he would have been the example that I would follow, and it's guaranteed to pursue the fuckboy chain. It's gonna just run in the family.
Right. Yeah, because Mr. Wiley was the man.
What?
That's how fucked up is that? He got 22 kids.
He was that.
He that guy.
Yeah.
Mr.
Most
Wiley
of them were too, though.
My grandma had 9 of them, and I think 4 of them have siblings the exact same age.
Man, it ain't a long walk between them buildings. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's not that family. That's Bushi, Javon, Kyle, and Trinine.
Oh, that's after. Yeah, that's after. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's after. But my mom got a sibling the same age. That's from a whole. You know what I'm saying?
That's wild. Do y'all think so? Going to the question, do you guys think there's a difference between growth and reform? Is it the same thing? In this context. So we take it fuckboy context.
Those are two different words. I wish I would have pulled the definition up. I guess I could do it on my phone. But growth and reform, you think about reform, I think about an ex-con who's now doing something great in his community.
Right.
So that's applicable to the fuckboy behavior.
It is, but it's applicable in the same sense of that ex-con label is still with them.
Yeah.
You get what I'm
Right.
saying? And I think that's my point. Like, when do you let go of the old labels to acknowledge the new you?
So
Why
in
does it have to stay with you?
So here's this: in certain cases, you can't, because the ex-con ain't going nowhere.
Why?
Because
'Cause he on house arrest.
Because he on house arrest. Because he can't get a job because he's a felon. That's gonna ride with him forever.
No. I'm gonna tell you why we hold on to it though, because it's still a badge of honor. Mr. Wiley's still the man in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
To Chief's grandmother, he ain't.
He ain't
That's
shit.
wild.
You see what I'm saying?
wild.
Right.
Because Mr. Wiley's still the man.
Why to you?
Because again, think of again 80s, 90s, right? Think
Right.
about what we aspired to be.
Mm-hmm.
19 Keys said this the other day. He
Shout
said,
out to my man 19 Keys, Oakland, California.
he said, oh, he's from Oakland?
Yeah.
Yo, I did not know that.
Yeah, he's from town.
Oh, that makes sense now. Okay. He said, I think the word he used was trope. He's like, drug dealers are the old tropes. Like he said, we aspire to that, right? Like I'll speak for myself. I aspire to have the things drug dealers have. What do
Yep.
they have? Money, women, jewelry, cars, right? That is all associated with the man, right? Mr. Wiley had a lot of women, a lot of kids. He's the man. Now, it doesn't mean the behavior was right. I'm just saying perception was reality for kids growing up, for me growing up specifically. So why I say you hold on to it, because depending the audience, there's still some, you know what I'm saying, like some credibility to
flex
that.
in
Yeah,
that
it's
shit.
still some
Yeah.
flex to that. Like it's like, yo, yeah. I used to do my motherfucking thing. You know what I mean?
It's kind of like, it's kind of like I find myself now, like Justice he's 14, so he's into girls heavy. That's all he give a fuck about.
Yeah, that's all we did care about it for.
Right. So understandably so. So I find myself now in this new level of adolescence and trying to figure out how to lead, guide him, let him figure out shit, but also how to influence him. I find myself now having a couple conversations like, bro, I'm trying to put you up on game right now. You know what I mean? Not on how to conquer a woman, but how to move as a man in regards to women. So as a result of that, I got to let you know, like, yo, like, I was out here. Like, life is, life has always been good as far as women are concerned. So let me let you know this. So I find myself.
But even in that, though, right? Think about it. You about to give him a lesson by telling him how dope shit used to be, but don't do this.
Right.
That's
That's point.
That's the whole like do as I say, not as I do.
Because that, to me, in my mind, that is something that may be relatable or may connect him. You know what I mean? Because he's into girls right now. So let me speak from the perspective of somebody who has plenty of experience in that department. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And sometimes you find yourself glorifying, certain things in order to make a point to help them.
I mean, that's a good point.
Or are we satisfying our ego?
It can be.
There's that too.
It can be that too. I don't think with a 14-year-old and my son, I'm trying to be like,
I was
fucking everything.
No. It's not about him though.
Right.
It's about you. That's what I'm saying. And I'm not saying you were doing that. It's a question.
No, I hear you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because I do that shit. Like, I had a different life at some point, right? And when I talk to people that's in that life, they get me to go there, and I'll go there. You know what I'm saying? And while I'm saying it, it feels good.
I can't remember where the conversation came from, but it was along the lines of like people being selfish and always like when you mention something and I'm like, oh yeah, I can relate, blah blah blah, and that's like me being selfish, taking off you and bringing it on me. But somebody said, no, what we're doing is we're creating connection.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when you tell those stories sometime and you got to revert back to those days, it's like I'm trying to create a connection here.
Right.
Once I have that connection,
For a
now
purpose.
I can. You know what I mean? Now I can continue on the conversation. But what I will say is, even though you're dropping them gems about how you used to be and things, whatever, I think he'll learn more from what he sees. Kids are sponges and they mimic what they see.
Yo, see, this is about to go down a different path. So, or he'll try to aspire to be what you used to be. Right? Because you started off by saying that, like, life was good in this area. Right? And here's why I say that. Because and I think we may or may not have talked about this on the podcast, but I think some of the challenges for me growing up, it's like I was trying to seek approval from the people I looked up in my family, like my dad, my uncles, my cousins. They were all criminals, right? Like, per definition, they weren't bad people, but they were all criminals. And I remember getting arrested for the first time. And I remember going to juvenile detention. And I remember, I went to juvenile detention and met one of my cousins I didn't even know I had.
That's wild.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I remember going back home and like now me and my dad can relate. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like, this is something, because in this, like when I was growing up, it was like, oh, he the man.
Yep.
Why he the man? Because don't nobody fuck with him. You know what I'm saying?
He did X, Y, and Z.
Exactly. Right? So now I'm like, oh.
None of that was X, Y, and Z was all negative shit.
No, 100%.
Yep.
But the catalyst for the reputation doesn't matter as much as the reputation.
Right.
Because that's what you want.
Right.
You want to be revered in that same light. So that's the only thing I'm saying. Like, so
Yeah.
I struggle, bro. Until I started meditating, I didn't realize the connection. This is a true story. So like, it was right before my surgery. So it was November. I shot to Connecticut, picked my dad up, picked my brother up, tell me move some shit before I got in my surgery. My dad was talking about me growing up and how like people would speak about me to him in a negative, like, not a negative light, but like basically like Bell don't play. Like that was like the gist of the conversation for the most part. And he would have like so much like pride in speaking about that level of conversation and what I was known for.
Yeah, because his son ain't no punk. Yeah, that's
Right,
my boy.
right.
Exactly,
You know
right. Like, and,
Yeah, my
but
dad didn't say that, no.
I could tell him, I'm like, Dad, I could be like, you know, I'm the second black director in a multi-billion-dollar company, and that won't hit
As hard.
as hard.
As hard as when you knocked
But-
homie out last week.
Right, but here's what I just realized this shit. Like on that car ride, I realized it. He can't relate to that. He can't relate to that. He has no way to measure that.
Right.
Like he hears me, he's happy for me, he knows it's a big deal, but he can't relate to that on a level that will allow him to like he'll be super proud of me, right? But he can't he can't see himself in that situation. So he don't know how to connect with me at that point. So now it's like when he hears about other shit that I did when I was younger, he can connect to me on that because my dad's a gangster. You know what I'm saying? So he can connect to me on that level, and he can have meaningful conversations with me on that level. But it's like he can't talk to me about how to prep for a motherfucking quarterly business review.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like he can't talk to me about that. So he's now feels inferior. You see what I'm saying? Like he feels inferior because now his son has surpassed anything he's ever done, and he's very proud and very grateful. But I don't want to speak for him, but I feel he wishes he could contribute more into that level of conversation. So, but being that he can't, where we can connect, he lives in that space as much as he can, and that's also like a negative. It's like perpetuating a negative connotation. Like it's
Yeah.
like it's perpetuating a negative image.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
My dad, it was like that. I remember seeing my dad beat on my little sister's mama. I've seen him do, a couple things that just were beyond out of pocket. And growing up, when I found myself behaving in any way when it came to women, not physically, let me put that out there, but just, just moving and shaking, that was my connection to my dad. That because I didn't grow up with, no, consciously, very consciously. That was my connection to my dad because at least there was something about me that reminded me of what I saw in him, which must be in our connection. And the connection that I remember being most dominant was when he drank, how he cursed at women, like, certain shit that he was doing that wasn't cool. But at least I got that to be my comparison with my father. So I feel like I kept that nature because it reminded me of my father, and who doesn't want to be reminded of their parents? Who doesn't want to see a bit of, their parents in themselves and vice versa.
But that's also your definition of a man.
Right. Well, I guess so, yeah, because we talk about my dad, who's a man, right? Like, I may know it's not right, but when you grow up without one, and all you have to go on is what you've seen or the stories that I heard, and I heard a lot of gangsta-ass stories about my pops. My dad always had money, and he always had women. I don't really know him like that, so shit, I got this access to these women. Let's get it. Let's try to get to this money as well.
You're on your way.
You get what I'm saying?
You're on your way to fulfilling that.
And that's my connection, because that's my father. And I think a lot of us subconsciously fall into that trap. You know what I mean? We may have our father or other men who aren't the best examples as far as how to carry ourselves in regards to women and our integrity, but that's our connection. Everybody wants a connection to somebody.
Yeah, so, and I obviously can't relate to any of the dad
What
type
part?
things. the dad connections. I can't even tell you what that would look like, but the males I did have in my life who were even remotely close to doing a positive path, I didn't have consistent contact with them. So everything that I picked up, my grandfather, my Uncle Eddie, who was just like, he's another one that's known in the city, somebody you just didn't want to fuck with.
Yeah.
And you had a consistent relationship with him?
I mean, my plenty of grandchildren from my grandmother. I got plenty of cousins, so we was always, in the projects together. And my Uncle Eddie, my grandfather, my Uncle Nelson, who was like the city basketball star, but he was a little bit. I think he's 10 years older than me, but he was doing his thing. So that's the only
Rest in peace, Uncle Nelson.
Rest in peace, my Uncle Nelson. It's the only thing that kind of like gave me a positive spin on it. So to your point, where the hell did I get the fuckboy behavior from? I don't know. I think it's just because the streets say it's cool to have all the girls.
Yeah. It's nature versus nurture.
The culture says, yo, get the shorties. You know what I'm saying? So I learned to develop. I got it from? My mom's ex-boyfriend's brother. I had accidentally bleached his clothes one day. Put some bleach in his colored clothes. The very next day, he comes in with, I'm talking about, like, bags on his wrists. He got so many bags he carried into the house. Shorty bought it for him. I swear to God, I used to sit on the floor, Indian style, and just listen to him talk to ladies on the phone. That's how kind of I got a lot of.
That's no longer an appropriate term.
What's that?
Indian style.
Is it not?
No, it's like scissors or what is it? Crisscross applesauce.
That's what they say in elementary, but I mean.
Yeah, it's not
really?
appropriate. Yeah. The views expressed by Michael Chief Peterson are not the views of all black men.
I apologize. Do not cancel us. I was just informed of that. So he checked me on the show.
Yeah.
Don't do that to us.
Yeah, crisscross applesauce.
Crisscross applesauce. I would sit crisscross applesauce and watch my man talk to shorties and be like, yo, this dude is a G. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because he had the shorties. Like the very next day when I tell you he had buku clothes like this, it was like, wow, this is what it's like. You know what I'm saying?
That shit just go like, dude, this fuckboy thing is going deeper for me than I intended it to. I'm like, word, this.
I ain't even touched the surface
yet. I'm like, man, this is gonna be a fun episode. But yo, man, this shit is deep rooted, bro. Like deep rooted. We all have examples of men in our lives at a young age that flaunted their playboy lifestyle.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like we all have images of that. So, but think about it, right? Think about what would happen if we didn't grow up in that environment. Like, think about it, right? Think about if you and Clement and Peaches were.
That's my dad's name, Clement, by the way.
Was middle class, lived in a middle class neighborhood, other middle class families. Not to say that this shit don't go on in the middle class and stuff like that, but it's not around you all the time. You know what I'm saying? You see your dad showing up every day working. You see your mom every day showing up working. But no, we don't grow up in these types of environments in most cases. Or we don't got to look far for examples in our parents, right? So you succumb to the environment, the teaching, right? Like I said, nature versus nurture. Peaches wasn't telling you to go out and dog women. You know what I'm saying? But you picked up on that based on, and also, not for nothing, if you wasn't doing it at one point, you was corny, right? Like I was gonna make a
culture, the environment.
Yeah, culture, right? I was gonna make a point. I remember one day, my daughter was dating this dude who was a good kid, like a real good kid. I remember sitting him down. I sat him down, and I'm like, yo, man, look, you young, y'all young. I don't want you to hurt her. So if you want to go out and do your thing, man, do your thing, right? End it with her, do your thing. Like, Like if you got that in you, I'm speaking from experience. Like you want to go out and explore that. You want to go have fun, right? You don't want to be locked down. And he's looking at me like I'm speaking a foreign language, right? And I didn't think nothing of it. Then I go talk to my cousin, who his son and my daughter are the same age. I was like, yeah, man, I said to sit bring boyfriend down, talk to him about this, that, and the third. But he's looking at me all crazy. And he was like, yeah, because that's not how they are. He's like, that generation of kids, they're not like us. He was like, because his son, my little cousin, he was like, nah, he told me the other day, he's like, nah, Dad, I just want one girl. That's it. Like, I just want one girl, a dog, and that's it. I don't want to be, and his son was an All-American football player, right? So popular, right? Like, he's like, nah, I just want one girl.
So is it?
But my point is, my cousin was saying that to me, and I was receiving it as like, that's a foreign concept.
To them.
Yeah, to me.
Right.
It's a foreign concept to me to have one girl at that age.
At that age, right.
You know what I'm saying?
So is it in? I guess I don't know. Is it intentionally done? Like, in the midst of your fuckboy behavior, do you go in it with the intent, like, I got me a shorty, I'm a rock out with her, but then we just happen to meet somebody else and you just play the game, or you like, nah, I'm gonna get her, then I'm gonna get her, then I'm gonna get her, then I'm gonna get her. I don't think a lot of,
Speak for yourself.
I don't think a lot of them go into it like, I'm about to just be out here dogging everybody.
Right.
No, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think we have a lack of foundation and principles.
Ooh.
You get what I'm saying? So you got a lack of foundation and principles, then you kind of go by the wind with whatever relationship you're in. You know what I'm saying? A woman pops up and you like her, you talking to her. Another one pops up. You like something about her. You start talking to her, but there's you don't have any guidelines or principles or foundations that you operate on.
We also don't have the communication skills we have now. So back then, as soon as Shorty pissed me off, well, you want to act up? All right.
Oh yeah,
Shorty ain't stressing.
That was
Shorty ain't stressing me.
I'm sure you better not can tell you.
Right.
Yeah,
Care about nothing got a hand.
Right.
That was the immediate response.
Yeah,
No, but you know what it is too, bro? We don't talk about this a lot. We also still seek validation.
Yo.
Right? Like, you with a chick and she love you. You love her, right? You're young. You're in your 20s. You go out, see somebody. You out and about. Somebody showing you interest. Like, damn, she feeling me. And that feels good. But to that foundation, we don't have enough. I'll go as far as saying self-respect, right? To not lend ourselves out like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like in confidence, self-confidence. Because, yeah, you're attractive. You don't need somebody to tell you that. Yeah, you're attractive. Yeah, you're smart. Yeah, you're a great catch. Yeah, you're all these things. But it's like, we may not believe it. I'll speak for myself. Maybe I didn't believe it at that time. So when I get it from somebody else, I'm like, oh, okay. This feels good. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, what I'm doing over here is detrimental to somebody else as a result. But all I'm doing is trying to find more validation. You know what I'm saying? And again, and that's what happens. Like, at least for me, I'll speak for myself. Like,
okay. So in your phases right now, just being as married men, like the validation just comes in just getting a compliment from somebody else, and that's enough right there, because you obviously can go back home and have everything you need, and it ain't worth jeopardizing. But for dudes who are not in that situation and don't have the mental capacity to understand the concept of relationship and monogamy, like, that validation means everything, and they're just gonna keep jumping from house to house, just trying to build up their ego because they, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll give you one even colder, man. I got a good friend. She's a friend of mine to this very day. When I met her, she was an escort. It's hella cool. We were hella cool, hella tight. It got to a point where, you know, we kick it, hang out, then all of a sudden.
Because the nigga said when I met her, she was an escort. Did you was hiring escorts or?
No.
Because it hit me the wrong way.
Nah,
It was like
I didn't know. I didn't know initially. I didn't know initially, and then she started pull up in her legs. She started rolling my joints. You know what I'm saying? Start taking me out to eat. Start doing these things. Next thing I know, I'm getting shoes to the crib. I'm getting things. Next thing I know, she need a little bit of protection on the run. So
what was you, a
just
shadow
listen,
pimp?
bud. Just listen to the story. Let me get to the story.
What was you?
you an assistant pimp. You come from a line of assistant pimps.
You was an intern.
So next thing I know, I'm in her car. I know, I'm in her car waiting outside of spots. And she come back in the car like, he had me stepping on his balls for 30 minutes because he like, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing right now?
Bro, she was
People-
dominatrix?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I don't know what these motherfuckers
She
be
had
signing
this
up
nigga
for when
Predator
they
on
be
the
paying
leash.
for it, but they be paying for torture. So my point is, I found myself one night in this trailer park. And she ain't doing what she's doing,
Go on a terrible rabbit hole.
and I'm in the
I don't
passenger
know
seat.
where we are.
Listen, I'm getting there. I found myself in the passenger seat, and I was like, why do I feel like a pimp? You know, like, why do I lightweight, and that wasn't the plan, but there were attributes of our relationship that were very pimpish. And a part of that made me feel really good about myself because I come from West Oakland, which is a huge pimp culture.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You get what I'm saying?
Prentice Pimpin' Powell.
Ooh, Prentice Pimpin' Pow.
Oh, see, you know, you call me what you want to, man. You know what I'm saying? We out. See, that's that unhealthy shit. My bad. So I just found myself in this situation, but I know that I kept going with it because that's where I come from. The pimping is part of the culture in Oakland. You know what I'm saying? That ism, that talk, having a mouthpiece with, you know, how effective you are with women just by your vernacular. So a part of that was appealing to me. You get what I'm saying? Because now I find myself in a situation where I'm feeding into stereotypes that I've identified before and have been glorified in my community.
100%.
And that wasn't my intent, but I found myself in it and was like,
I'm going to walk in this.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got me
With
some
these new
crispy
shoes she bought.
shoes
Yeah,
on, you know what I'm saying? This shit kind of nice, man. We out here. But I say all that to say is that sometimes I think we can find ourselves growing up in life, getting into situations that are reminiscent of other people's lifestyles that we've watched. And because we don't have a foundation or still searching for a connection, we'll gravitate to that fuckboy nature. Because we don't have anything else to gravitate towards.
Yeah, I mean, bro, let's call it what it is, man. It's a scarcity, poverty-stricken culture.
Yeah, man.
That's what it is. It's like if you had doctors in abundance in your neighborhood, you would aspire to be a doctor.
Exactly.
Right?
But when I seen one, and I don't remember seeing one, but when I saw one, they weren't on my radar.
Why? Because they didn't look like success, right?
They didn't talk like
Right.
success. They didn't. My mom used to, growing up, always, this is one thing I always give my mom's props for. Excuse me. She used to always try to recruit and get other black men that she met or knew to be a part of my life to come and visit me. But all these motherfuckers was squares. And I remember at a young age, be like, why do you keep bringing these lame-ass niggas
So
around?
she brought the good dude around to positively influence her son, but he was unable to connect. And that's
Because
what
he
I'm
talking
about,
some other
connection.
shit that I don't
Because
even...
the negative dudes have already influenced you.
And that's not what I'm not trying to hear this motherfucker talk to me about. You can be anything you want. Go somewhere, bro.
Trying to get these hoes.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to
What
be
are
pimping,
you
like
talking
pimping
about?
Pat. Like, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that plays a difference too. You know, what we see in our life, and then as we get older, we find ourselves in some of them grown-up adult circumstances.
Yeah. So I think, so to your point, you know, you saw it with your dad. I think for Belle and I, it was more so just the environment being around, like just seeing people around moving and shaking and
how they move.
and how they move is like what you want it to be. You know, you want it to be the guy with the girls, the guy with the money, the Lex, you know, the whole 9 yards. So it's weird because I keep thinking back to the dad thing, and I'm like if I could identify an influence that specifically came from a man, I don't know if I could be like, yeah, he is why I do this. You know what I'm saying?
Or he could be why you don't do this.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Both.
I think that's the essence of how the whole fatherhood, my fathering, my parents.
Yeah, like the absence of this is why I'm do this.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And I think that's I don't know. For me, it's not that I've absolutely had my fuckboy days, but like it's in terms of like a lot of the negative things that I've experienced growing up, I tried to turn just like, you know, like not drinking, not smoking, like trying to be the best father I could to my kids because my dad wasn't there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like I some
Kind of
way,
overcompensated.
but I think that's what it is. So rather than trying to turn it positive, I think it's literally an overcompensation. Like it's very okay for me to sit down and have a drink with my homies. You know what I'm saying? But I'm
What
like,
you
nah,
want. Right.
that ain't. You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
ain't me. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's nothing. I'm a grown ass man. If I want to drink, I could drink. But I'm like,
Right.
nah, I just don't. That ain't me. I don't want to do that. You dig what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I
I think
get
I
that.
think for certain negative components of my upbringing, I really do still in my adult life overcompensate for that because I don't know. I just didn't have that. You know, I didn't have those gems given to me by the dude. I think I might. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have anybody to tell me the difference. I think I just away from me to like block it out or like not drift down that path was like go to the next extreme. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. That's interesting. Because it's like you're overcompensating in certain areas, but not all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
which is also fuckboy behavior.
Right.
It
You know what I
really
mean?
is.
Like,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
because
And
Peaches,
that's really what it is overcompensation. You know, a lot of that fuckboy behavior is overcompensation for other shit.
no, yeah, it's just like the dude with the big truck. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's overcompensating for something, right? And we overcompensate for things, but it's from a like I said, it's from an absence.
like my guy, it was perfectly fine stepping in your truck. What the fuck you need a ladder for?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Now you got these metal balls
Yeah,
on
like,
the back
chill
of
out.
your bumper.
Chill out.
Like, what the fuck do
It's
we
like,
got
yo,
these big
you're
nuts
5'3".
Right, and you're 5'3". Chill out.
It's like, what's happening, man?
You're short, bro.
Oh my goodness, where else are we going?
We didn't answer any of the questions.
No, we
yet,
didn't.
bro.
But I thought it was a good conversation, though.
Oh shit. Okay, so
We didn't, but I thought the conversation definitely was like we there's some gems people could take from it.
right. I
'Cause
don't know
drama
how
is everywhere.
I don't know how we are on time, but let me ask you: how do you identify fuckboy nature?
Okay. So before I answer the question, I want to say. No, I can't even say that. I was gonna say I want to say we don't even hang around them cats, but they're around all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
But like,
I'll go on record by saying I refuse to ever call myself a fuckboy. Ever. Right? That's just something I just won't call myself.
Right.
What I will say is I've done a lot of women dirty in my life. Right? Unintentionally, right? I wasn't deliberately I didn't
Out
have
here,
malice in my heart,
Right.
right? I didn't have any of that trying to do that. I was young. I was just going with what felt good. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, I've done that a lot. But on the other side of the coin, in terms of the definition of a fuckboy that I became familiar with in college, I've never done that. I've never.
that's almost like sleazy, grimy.
No,
like,
100%.
yeah.
Like, and we all know them too.
Yeah.
Like we all know them too. I've never participated in that behavior. Like I've always been a stand-up guy. Like you leave your wife in the room with me, whatever, right? Like you don't have to worry about me. Like I'm not that guy. Leave money on the dresser. You don't have to worry about me.
Mm-hmm.
Chief, shoes, I may occasionally take a pair or two, right? Like I can't be held accountable for that. But he knew better before he bought these shits. So anyway, but stuff like that. But outside of that, man, like, yeah, I've done a lot of shit. But the thing is, I feel like I during those times, like I would justify, like my ex, right? I thought I was gonna marry her. I thought she was gonna be the one I marry. But I was having a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So my whole thing was the way I justified. I was like, all right, well, I'll just get this shit out my system.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the statement right there. Let me
Yeah.
just get it out of my system.
Yeah, let me get it out my system, and then her and I can live happily ever after. I'll just keep it from her. Like she in another state, she ain't going. You know what I mean? And this was right when social media was coming to age, and that's how I ended up getting jammed up a couple of times. But in my mind, I was justified because like, no, I'm going to do right. Like I'm going to do right by her in said time.
Right.
For now, though, I'm in the club, we having fun, we popping.
Shorty at me.
She at me, like
Yeah.
I'm fresh out of college, you know, better shape. Right? So it's like you justify, you do all those things, but it's again, it's like it's self-fulfilling, right? Like you're still, and for me, I was still trying to live up to an image that I felt was held in high regard.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but in reality is that's not real life.
True. Very much so. I think to your point though, like I don't think I've ever labeled myself a fuckboy. I don't think I've ever even referred to anyone as that.
Mm-hmm.
I've definitely probably tried one of my teammates to call him a fuck nigga in college just because I wanted to see what he was really about. But other than that, I don't. But I can definitely resonate with the behavior and the term. But to your point, like we probably don't need to even use that word again in our adult lives.
Right. I mean, especially since it's been so commercialized. That's the other thing.
There's
too.
that too.
It's like
There's that too.
I don't subscribe to, you know, like words that are used in our culture and then taken and there's a show called Fuckboy Island. I don't know if y'all know that.
Really?
I heard about
Yeah.
it, but obviously I'm not even interested in watching something like that.
There's a show
What is the
called
concept?
It's in my head. Just the title sounds like a bunch of clown ass cats that nobody wants to watch.
Like,
I want the concept.
I don't listen, let me just go on record. I don't care how down and out, how down bad I am. I'm an aspiring actor, whatever. I'm not casting on Fuckboy Island. Like, I'm not doing it. Like,
Normalized.
you're not about the disrespect. Like, because again, that's disrespectful to me. I'm like, no, you're not about to call me that.
You heard about it or you seen about it? Do you know anything about it?
Nothing about it.
Yeah, me either. So I can't even attest to it.
No, I'm not, I won't. That's like something I
Yeah,
won't watch on title alone. Hopefully, people don't not listen to this album. I mean, this episode on title alone, right? But no, on title alone, I won't watch Fuckboy Island.
But there's a space for that now.
100%.
You get what I'm saying?
And
Because
that's
it's
the crazy
commercialized.
part.
There's a
Yeah.
space for that.
And that's the crazy. But there's not. But the space is. I don't know nothing about the show, but it sounds like it's glorifying this behavior, this title, this title, this label.
Yo, if you look at reality TV right now, one of my favorite shows since quarantine, Love Island. Me and Sarai watch
Love Island?
Love Island.
I don't know if I've seen
The
it.
concept is really simple. They bring a bunch of people to this fucking island to stay in this villa to start establishing relationships, and they put in people and scenarios that are gonna fuck up their relationships. Only for somebody, ultimately the winner, to win $50,000 by staying in the longest, most successful relationship.
So it's a test of your willpower. Baby.
Yeah.
It is, but there is a place for that now. It's normalized. So this behavior that we call fuckboy behavior has now started to be like indoctrinated into regular society. You know what I mean? So then how do the youth use discernment when all these TV reality shows about fucking people?
Yeah, there's also that.
And you can get famous off of it.
And the crazy shit is, there's like aspiring fuckboys.
Yeah.
Like people like I want to be a fuckboy.
Like
one
I
day.
can't wait to be.
I
on
can't wait
Fuckboy
till I get
Island.
labeled. Like
Yeah, there's a show called I think it's Too Hot to Handle, where they trick the people and bring them to this place or this island,
think
and
I've seen
then
that one.
let them wild out for the first 24 hours, and then they be like, oh, by the way, can't none of y'all touch each other? Can't none of y'all? And they lose money if they violate
Yeah, I
these
saw
things.
that
And
show.
the people on the show, a lot of them don't even give a fuck. They on national
Yeah.
TV wilding, knowing they can win $100,000, but don't have enough self-control to not touch a girl and not
I'm
kiss
not
her.
even going front. In that area, I'd probably smash something too. Like I'm about to take Shorty home.
Man,
Man.
you get me
she's
his
like, man,
bread,
there ain't
man.
cameras over here. Let's go. Man.
Yeah,
Ain't gonna
word,
see us over
right.
here.
Cameras are here.
Meanwhile, it's cameras
Toot that
everywhere.
ass up.
So I think society really has normalized the behavior more than we actually realize. You know what I mean? And there's a space for it if you want it. So I think it has to be more of a personal decision to not carry yourself in that manner. Because if you want to, there are plenty of things that are going to advocate for that type of behavior.
Trash.
What? Being a fuckboy, you saying?
Yeah.
Absolutely trash.
Yeah.
Absolutely trash. I don't even want to talk about these clowns no more. P, close the show. What can we leave off with that gives a gem of hope for the future, for the youth? What can we tell them? Final thoughts, man.
Hey, learn how to love on yourself. I think that's the main key. You learn how to love on yourself. You're not gonna desperately crave the love of anybody else. You're not. It's not gonna be as desirable when you learn how to love on yourself. That's what creates your standards. That's what lets you know what type of women you want to mess with and what type you don't. When you have certain standards and principles, and if you don't have the principles, pick you 5 principles. Pick 5. I recently did that. Pick 5 principles. I don't remember what all 5 of mine are yet because
So
I
did
haven't
you really
fully
pick
gotten
'em?
there.
So did you really pick them?
You know what? Okay, we'll talk about that later. Pick 5 principles and see if you can stick to those. That's my final thought.
Okay. I had a real good thought and it just slipped my mind. Go
Want me
ahead,
to go?
bro. Yeah.
I don't really have anything to say necessarily. I don't think there's anything wrong with learning who you are. And I think sometimes that comes at a cost to someone else. You learning who you are. And I think that I learned who I was in my last relationship, my last long relationship. And it allowed me to learn things about me that I need to address. Right? Whereas again, it sucks that somebody had to go through that pain while I find myself, if you will, or figure out who I am. But I think all we have is experience, right? Like we have to learn from it. You know what I'm saying? So it made me a better person, and I'm sure for better or worse, she learned some lessons too, right? Which may or may not have made her a better person, but it definitely made her more aware. So I feel like get the lessons you need from whatever phase of life you're in, and learn what you need to learn, address what you need to address, adjust, and grow.
Word. So you referenced something about, like, you unfortunately having to hurt people at the expense of trying to find yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why the quote came to my mind, but it says something along the lines of, like, we expect our partners to come as a completed project, but we give ourselves the grace to evolve. And I think that's the nature of what a lot of people do.
Yeah.
So my final thought is dare to be different. I think that's as cliche as it sounds from the DARE program back in the day, but dare to be different, yo. Like, I think when you stand firm in being outside of the box, it creates that self-love, it creates that confidence, and sometimes ultimately that's needed to move forward in life. And I say there's this I guess it's a parable, but it's like they say you're a combination of the 5 people you spend the most time around. If you look at the 5 people who you spend the most time around, it says your personality is a mixture of all of them. And if those people aren't guiding you or setting examples to put you on a path to betterness, to success, then start interchanging them people and get some better people in your circle.
Or hang around other people so you can learn what better looks like.
That too. All right. That was cool.
it.
So, per usual, we are on all social media outlets at All Black Men Need Therapy. Hit us up on email at allblackmenneedtherapy@gmail.com. Website coming soon. I know we said it a million times, but it's for real. And we have a voice line now. Hit us up on the voice line. Leave us a voice note. Tell us what you want us to talk about. Leave a comment. We might put it up on the podcast. You can hear yourself. People can hear you. You can contribute to our show. The number is 860-410-6160. That's 860-410-6160. Hit us up.
Mike Jones.
Word. And per usual, y'all, do us all a favor and hug a black man today.
Do it.
And tomorrow.
Do it.
We out.
Peace.